What is the longest WWE match in history? That's what we're going to answer today, but to make this video interesting, we are not going to include any Royal Rumble matches since they would take up 80% of this list. Seriously, the shortest Royal Rumble match is over 33 minutes long. With that, let's begin with number 10, Bruno Sammartino vs. Nikolai Volkov. Bruno Sammartino might not be familiar to newer fans, but in the 60s and 70s, Bruno was the man in WWE. He held the WWE Championship 2 times for a grand total title reign of 4,040 days. Not only did Sammartino have long championship reigns, but he also had long matches. During Bruno's second WWE Championship reign, he took on Nikolai Volkov. The two faced off at Madison Square Garden, and their match went on for so long that it had to be stopped due to the arena closing. Because of this, Sammartino and Volkov's match ended in a draw and lasted a total of 53 minutes. 41 years later, the two would be one-upped by number 9, Dean Ambrose vs. Luke Harper. The 2015 Extreme Rules pay-per-view opened with a Chicago street fight between Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper. It's not surprising, given the match type, that the fight didn't even start in the ring. After about 7 minutes of brawling around the ringside area, Luke Harper and Dean Ambrose made their way backstage. Harper then got into a vehicle and drove off, with Dean Ambrose hanging out of the window. The show continued without Dean and Luke, but over half an hour later, the two came crashing back into the arena.
What? Oh, hey! It's Harper!
They continued where they left off and had a brutal fight. In the end, though, it was the Lunatic Fringe who ultimately won.
And now Ambrose hooking, oh, dirty deeds!
Thanks to their car trip, this match ended up being 55 minutes and 45 seconds long. Had Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper made a stop at McDonald's, they would have beaten number 8, Shawn Michaels vs. John Cena. 3 weeks after their phenomenal main event match at WrestleMania 23, John Cena and Shawn Michaels locked up again. Their WrestleMania match had gone on for 28 minutes and 22 seconds, but their rematch went for a bit longer. The Heartbreak Kid and John Cena had another amazing match that was just as good, if not better, than the WrestleMania bout. Unlike Mania, Shawn Michaels came out on top after fighting for 55 minutes and 49 seconds. That's crazy, but not as crazy as what you're gonna see at number 1. But first, number 7, every Iron Man match. The Iron Man match is a match where the participants try to get as many points as possible. Wrestlers can win points by pinning and submitting their opponent. The time limit can vary, but the traditional Iron Man match goes on for 60 minutes. As such, we've seen several hour-long WWE matches, like Kurt Angle vs. Brock Lesnar, Chris Benoit vs. Triple H, John Cena vs. Randy Orton, and more. There is one Iron Man match that did go over 60 minutes though, and that's number 6, Shawn Michaels vs. Bret Hart. At the 12th WrestleMania, Shawn Michaels fought the WWE Champion Bret Hart in an Iron Man match. The two put on a physical and technical spectacle, but as the clock kept counting down, neither man had gotten a single point. Finally, after 60 minutes, the match ended in a draw, with the score showing 0-0 for both wrestlers. Bret was happy to call it a night, but WWE President Gorilla Monsoon had the match restarted under sudden death rules. HBK finally got the better of the Hitman and nailed Sweet Chin Music to win the match. Even though Bret lost the title, he could at least relish in the fact that he had the 6th longest WWE match of all time at 61 minutes and 52 seconds. That's impressive, but not as impressive as number 5, Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns Tag Team Turmoil. Before they faced off at Fastlane, Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns teamed up for one night in a Tag Team Turmoil match. Bryan and Reigns first had to face The Miz and Damien Mizdow. Thanks to The Miz's ego, the Fastlane opponents made quick work of the A-lister and his stunt double. The match continued with Roman and Bryan taking on Reigns' cousins, the Usos. Jimmy and Jay were much tougher opponents, and it didn't help that Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan were butting heads. Despite that, the two managed to overcome the Usos and moved on to the third team. Los Matadors were out next, and while they were a challenge, Roman and Daniel took care of them much faster than their last opponents. The Goat and the Dog next had to defeat Slater Gator, which wasn't much of a challenge at all. The 5th tag team, the Ascension, wasn't going to be so easy though. Connor and Victor dominated Reigns and Bryan. However, the Ascension didn't know their own strength and got themselves disqualified. Roman and Daniel were still in the match, but they weren't looking good, and unfortunately, their 6th and final opponents were Kane and The Big Show. Despite being in no condition to wrestle, Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns somehow managed to hold on. Ironically, Kane and Big Show would start fighting each other, and the Fastlane opponents managed to seize the opportunity and win the match.
Bryan, cover! Bryan and Reigns do it! Bryan and Reigns win Tag Team Turmoil!
In total, the Tag Team Turmoil match lasted 65 minutes and 15 seconds. That's long. These next few matches got even longer. much longer. Like number 4, Bruno Sammartino vs. Gorilla Monsoon. Hey, Bruno's back. Yes, during his first WWE Championship reign, Sammartino set another record. During a show at Madison Square Garden, Sammartino defended the title against Gorilla Monsoon. Despite multiple attempts, neither man would submit or stay down for the pin. Because of this, Sammartino and Monsoon ran out the clock, and the match had to end due to a curfew. This caused the match to clock in at 1 hour and 10 minutes. That's kitty numbers when compared to what you're going to see at number 1. Before that though, number 3, Bruno Sammartino vs. Pedro Morales. Man, everything Bruno did was long. Long title reigns, long matches, well, let's not go there. During a rare outdoor WWE event, Sammartino defended his title against Pedro Morales. Even though they were outside, the two future Hall of Famers still wrestled until the venue forced them to stop. Like before, the match resulted in a curfew draw and ended at 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 5 seconds. Number 2, Bruno Sammartino vs. Waldo Von Erich. 4 months into Bruno Sammartino's first reign as WWE Champion, he took on Waldo Von Erich in the main event of a show at Madison Square Garden. The two went on to wrestle for well over an hour, and, you guessed it, the arena was what stopped the match. Madison Square Garden had an 11 o'clock curfew at the time, so the match ended in a draw. How long did the match go? 1 hour and 21 minutes. That's the longest singles match in WWE history, but there is one match that was even longer than that, which is number 1, 7-man Gauntlet match. On February 19th, 2018, WWE fans tuned into Raw, unaware they were about to witness history. The show started with a 7-man Gauntlet match. Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins started things off and wrestled for 20 minutes. The battle finally ended when Rollins managed to pull a fast one on the big dog, but the match was far from over. John Cena was the next participant and didn't even have to take his shirt off. Somehow, the Architect had just enough fight left in him to hit the stomp and pin the Invisible Man, and it only took Seth 35 minutes to get the job done.
Cover, shoulders down. Rollins did it. He did it.
Elias then entered the match, and thanks to Roman and Cena softening him up, Seth was in no match for Ezekiel's big brother. Elias pinned Rollins, and then it was Finn Balor's time to fight. The Demon King took care of Elias, but was then immediately confronted by The Miz. However, thanks to help from The Miz Taraj, the A-lister got the job done in just over 11 minutes. Unfortunately for Miz, the final Gauntlet match participant was the Monster among men.
First reminding Miz who is next. He is a monster among men. So, Corey, if you're Miz, what do you do now? Run.
Even with Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas helping him out, The Miz was no match for Braun Strowman. The former Wyatt family member defeated the most must-see WWE superstar to win the match. In total, counting the time spent during commercial breaks, this 7-man Gauntlet match lasted 1 hour, 46 minutes, and 55 seconds. Now, to see the shortest WWE matches, watch the video on screen.